And today we are going to go over how to enter a seller lead and then convert that lead into a client. And the way we do that is by having them sign a listing agreement. So first thing we're going to do is log into Zoho CRM. I just type in Zoho CRM login. Go ahead and click that. I'm already logged in. Otherwise, you'd put in your login information here. That'll bring you to your dashboard. So with any lead, we'll click leads on the top. Maybe you met this person out at the bar or in your travels and you need to enter them. So let's create our lead. Again, this is a seller lead training video on how to convert them into a client after creating their listing agreement. So we're going to go here, contact type. This is a seller. These are our favorite people besides buyers ready to buy businesses. Lead source, however you got it. We'll just say that this is my personally. We'll say that I met them on my own. Referred by nobody. Now, a lot of these fields are the same ones you're going to see when you're setting it up for a buyer. But in this case, we're doing it for a seller, so they don't have an initial listing of interest. We'll go ahead and put in their first name. We'll call them Johnny Appleseed. His company is Apple Seeds Inc. His email is johnny@appleseeds.com, and his phone number is whatever it is. All right, we'll go ahead and put in as much information as we can here. It'll make our life easier later on. He is at 123 Appleseed Way in Appleton, New York. And whatever the zip code is. Seller facts, type of corporation. We'll say that Johnny Appleseed Inc. is an S Corp. We'll say he's current on his lease and he is current on his taxes, payroll, etc. And if you don't know, you just put on, unknown, or he's working on settling, or no. These are important questions to ask as you're getting to know your clients. We're not listed with another broker, so that doesn't apply. Any issues or problems? Last year's apple seeds were ruined in a flood. Any additional comments you can put here. We're not going to do a valuation class right now. That's for another day. If you need help with valuations, you can reach out to me or Darlene, and we'll help you figure out your valuation. So we'll skip over that. Seller listing info, lead status. We're not going to do anything with this right now. And business agreement. We'll get to that later. All right, so we've got all the required information here to create our lead for Johnny Appleseed, so we'll save it. All right, that brings us here. Okay, so in order to convert a seller client, or I'm sorry, a seller lead into a seller client, we have to do a business agreement. I want you to avoid clicking the business agreement tab. I just want you to go to all fields. And we're going to make sure as much information that we have is entered at this time. All right, so we did a lot of that when we were creating the lead. You'll see a bunch of that information is already in here. You can edit it by clicking the blue pencil. If you want to put in a secondary email, you can. Secondary phone number, you can. Skip over company agreements. Skip over seller lead information. No, I'm sorry, don't skip over that. Seller lead information. So we're going to say Johnny Appleseed's a commercial seller. We'll click that. Is the lead active? Sure he is. We'll click that. The only time you wouldn't want to click that is if you're not ready to engage with this lead yet, but typically you'll click that. Referral fees, we won't get into that. That's minutia for another day. If you're working with somebody that you need to pay them a referral fee for this particular lead who's about to be a client. All right, we've already got our property or business address information in here. Seller facts, we filled out a bunch of this when we were creating a lead. Valuation information we're going to skip over for now. Seller listing info. Um, skip over that. There's really nothing that we're going to go over with this today. All right, so business agreement. This stuff is super important for when we create our listing. So we're going to say today's our contract date, March 14th. The name of his business is Johnny Appleseed Inc. Marketing fees, we don't typically have those, so we'll skip over that for now. Business percent commission. We pretty much default for anything under 1.5 million at 10%. So we'll put in 10 for that. Our minimum commission on any deal is always going to be $15,000. Unless, we're doing something a little different, but you'd have to check with Darlene on that. But it's always a minimum of $15,000. If he has inventory, that's definitely a question I want to ask him. He can just give you an estimate. We'll say that he's got $100,000 in inventory. And we will say that inventory is included in the sale, or no, or estimated at closing or negotiable. If he has any excluded assets, you could put this here. So his applesauce machine is not part of the sale. If he's willing to offer seller financing, this is where we would click this here, yes, no, or negotiable. And our listing sales price. So we're going to sell Johnny Appleseed's business for $1 million. And if he's selling real estate, we'd put that there. But for now, we'll just say that he's a renter, so there's no price for real property. So this business agreement section is super important. Other stipulations that'll populate right onto the listing agreement. So you might want to say that Johnny Appleseed will not sell until, we'll call it Q3 of fiscal year 2025. I mean, this is whatever any other stipulations that the seller might have you'd put into here. We'll click that off. So that's pretty much it. This is all the required information. So now that this is saved in here, we're going to go on to the next step, which is creating a listing agreement so that we can convert him into a seller client. So we're going to click mail merge. You're going to select Moxie Brokerage Group Exclusive Listing Agreement 2025, the first one you see there, and we're going to click merge. That'll open a new window in your browser. And here you'll have the template for our exclusive listing agreement. Now this is, again, for an exclusive listing agreement. We also have non-exclusive. We won't get into that right now, but this is your cut and dry way of converting a seller lead into a seller client. All right, so you'll notice if you look in here, all these fields are not filled in. So what we're going to do is hit preview merge. And now you'll notice that this agreement was made March 14th. Johnny Appleseed at 123 Appleseed Way in Appleton, New York. Those are filled in. This auto-populated here, the 10% commission with the minimum of $15,000. And I do implore you to read this contract so you have a real good idea about what's in it so you can speak intelligently about it to your clients. Asking price, $1 million. That auto-populated. Inventory included, yes. Estimated value of the inventory is $100,000. And here's the other stipulation that Johnny Appleseed will not sell until Q3. We put that in before. Moving down, don't worry about the initials of the seller, the seller's signature, because once we create this document, we're going to download it and we're going to forward it to Darlene so she can review it, and then she will send it out for signature. So you'll see Johnny Appleseed's name's there. It's your client, or in this case, my client. So this auto-populated with my name. And here's the company name populated down here with phone number and email address. So that's it. This is your listing agreement. So now you're going to download the current record. Takes just a minute. I'm working on a Mac, so that's going to show up in my downloads up here. However your computer works, I don't know, but if you have any questions, you can always reach out. So here it is. We can see that this just happened today. Moxie Brokerage Group exclusive listing agreement. Let's label that something that we can recognize. We'll call it Appleseed Inc. You can ignore this ZDoc at the end there because this is going to save as a PDF. You don't have to delete that. It's just my personal preference. And then I'll go ahead and move him into his own folder. This is how I work. I have a folder for my seller clients, and we would create, I would create a new folder here for Appleseed Inc. I would save it in here by just dropping or dragging and dropping. Again, this is however you want to stay organized. You can save this into a Google Drive, into a Dropbox, whatever you prefer. So there it is. So now we have our listing agreement. You could go ahead and open that up. So here I'm in Adobe Acrobat. It's in PDF form. It's populated on legal paper, so 8x14. So if you're printing, just keep that in mind. So here's our listing agreement. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to email this to Darlene. So let's go back in here. We'll go new mail. Select Darlene at moxieselect.com. New listing agreement with Appleseed Inc. You're going to go ahead and say, hey, Darlene, please review the attached listing agreement. You can send it for signature to Johnny Appleseed at whatever his email address was. I think it was Johnny at appleseed.com, whatever his email address is. And that's it. And I might say, if you have any questions, give me a call. So Darlene will review that. She will then put it into Adobe Sign or Zoho Sign. And she will first send it to your client or your lead in this case. Once they sign, it will then be emailed to you for you to sign. And once you sign it, it's fully executed. And you now have converted your lead, your seller lead, into a client. So once you get that back, it'll come to your inbox. You're going to go back into your CRM, go to the overview. You would attach that fully executed contract into the CRM. Now, once I get it back, I'll go ahead and save it in here, but I'll always just type on here. I'll edit the name of this if it'll let me. Okay, it won't right now. That's fine. Once I get it back, I always label it fully executed, something like that, just so I know that I'm not attaching the blank listing agreement. So it's attached. So there you go. Your seller is now going to be converted into a client. Convert. Hit convert again. There's nothing else you need to do here. And now Johnny Appleseed is no longer a lead. He is a client. So the next thing we need to do is create a listing. That will be part 2 of this video. So we'll see you then.